If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional. Our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
On Monday, the 10th of August, 2026, here with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, we're talking to lawyer Assan Martin. The agreement speaks of a 5-year transitional government focused on reforms. Why 5 years? And what exactly makes that government transitional?
Well, we would say that transformational governance because, definitely, because, Peter, the state of affairs in Gambia today is because the institutions are not working. We need somebody to come and fix them.
Institutions are not working. Give me 1 or 2 institutions.
Peter, if you look at it, the failure of our institutions...
Which of them?
You can look at the healthcare.
It's failing.
Yes, because people are not getting the health services.
If you saw me on Thursday, and both the girls here, can bear witness, my left eye was as big as a tennis ball. I don't think anybody is looking at a tennis ball eye right now.
Yeah, but if you...
And I went to... I drove all the way up to Banjul, EFSTH.
Yeah, but you are talking only about your eye. Some people are talking about, their hearts. Some people are talking about their kidneys. Some people are talking something different health-wise.
And I know somebody who had,
You have people with kidney problems. People cannot have good health services. They don't have good medication. Probably your eye. Somebody can talk about their ear. Peter, is challenging here. Many people are dying.
No, we're simply saying... it's not, total collapse because there's some aspect of it that is still working.
Peter, if a minister of health stands
between Thursday and now, I've got my eye back.
Yeah, your eye back as one individual. But go to the hospitals today. You see people lying on the floor. You see people having the poor healthcare delivery. Peter has stated a lot. To the point that a minister has to stand in the parliament and say that, look, the healthcare is failing. In fact, he talked about the corruption in the healthcare. Now go to
the corruption. I remember.
Yeah. Now go to the law and order also. The law and order in Gambia, the state of the law and order is very bad, Peter. Today, the disorder on our traffics, the way it is, the crime level, these are things. Look at the tourism.
Down to our own attitude as Gambians.
Well, government also have responsibility, Peter.
Self.
Peter, government has responsibility. We understand that discipline has to come from the homes and so on. But again, government has responsibility. What policies? What is the state of our law enforcement? Are you giving them good training, good equipment? Now go to the sector called the tourism sector. Peter, even the culture, we don't have anything organized in this country. Look at the state of tourism today. Go to the tourist industry. Nothing is working for the people. Now, to go to the agriculture, we have people, the farmers, who will never, the farmers who are suffering because of their welfare. The farmers, again, cannot get the kind of the incentives they need. So we need a total reform. Now, when it comes to the economic side of things, Peter, today the life is so tough. The hardship that we have in terms of economic hardship, people cannot get the better kind of standard of living when it comes to their lives. People are spending in terms of, in terms of their spending, in terms of money, in terms of going to the market, the level of inflations and so on. So it's very tough for this country now. Definitely, Peter, there are a lot of things that if you want to say, look at it, the ID card situation. And that's why, as I say, Gambia needs a leader that will inspire and that will bring hope and also bring us reforms that we need. So this project is not about the individual, because you will be there with tough people. And it's about a collective leadership. It's not about one-man band. Like we say, if we have Talib Bensouda as our flag bearer, doesn't mean that he owns anything. As I say, you will have a lot of good Gambians around him. The guardrails will be there. You will be guided. So this is where now we need to make sure that Gambians vote for the project, not only the personality. The personality is there and trusted. He doesn't take ownership of it. So the mistake that people do is that the likes of President Adama Barrow, for them, is kind of like ownership. But for us, it's not going to be like that. That's why we say that you have to have the guardrails. You have to do consultations. Where you are, going off the tracks, there will be mechanisms in place that will say, look, you agree with us about this. Can you fix A, B, and C? So we put ourselves, we raise the bar in short, Peter. It's not about that government where you come and go. Even we mentioned it before, the State House. The protocols that has to work in the State House. Not every time you have your political events there. The State House belongs to every Gambian. These are things that you have to respect. We also make sure that you have a national minimum wage, at least at the start. The most important priority also, in our first 6 months, we want to make sure the 2020 draft is reviewed and also, going to be, put part of our constitution. Okay. But also very important, we're going to set up a review commission to review all government contracts along the line.
The coalition has also spoken of proportional representation in government structures. Mm-hmm. How would that work in practice? And how would you prevent political parties bargaining over positions from taking precedence over competence?
Well, Peter, this is not about... We were going to contact most of these political parties. There will be an outreach. But, it's not about scrambling for position. But like we just mentioned, we will look at your competence. We look at also your in terms of your capabilities, the abilities for you to serve the country. It's not about, well, I have to come and have this in government. And then the issue that these political parties are coming, Peter, we are setting ourselves for a national unity government for the first 5 years. That's what you mentioned, the transitional period. That's what we want. For the first 5 years, we want a government who's working for the Gambian.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So
if you want every party to see itself in government, mm-hmm. you might end up having political parties bargain over positions rather than competence.
Yeah, but again, as I say, we respect their position in terms of, bargaining, but it's not about bargaining. It's all about where can we discuss this issue. Okay, for instance, even now, we did not set up ourselves for that kind of like power sharing. We started the discussion, but we have to put it on hold because we are taking on board that probably even the UDP or any other party, we say that there will be seat reserved for them. Peter, it's all about can we help? Because the positions will be there. Remember, in government, you and I know that in government, it's not only about these cabinet appointments. You have the embassies, you have, the local governments in terms of the governors, you have also in terms of the legislative, you have all these areas where one can speak, the nominated members, even in the judiciary. We're going to fix a competent government. So in that light, I think we can take on board most of these parties that are coming to join us or, listen to us. But proportionally, as you just say, we will going to see, it's a national unity government whereby we will definitely give every stakeholder their due in terms of, but it has to be based on competence. If you come, we cannot say that you are a mechanic and then we give you agriculture. We can't do that. Some of this time, everybody will have a role to play. especially everybody in there. Let me assure you, everybody in this coalition who were there, especially within those coalition talks, and those who are coming, this is a government, a national unity government for all Gambians, so you will have a part to play. And some of us has that responsibility to ensure that. That's why we say that we will make sure that the coalition council will always stand to guide the president under the coalition project.
Suppose Coalition 2026 wins on the 5th of December, all right, gets into power, and 6 months into government, two coalition partners have a fundamental disagreement. What happens?
Again, the coalition council is there to help them resolve their issue. We also set ourselves for that because we have looked at every...
So there's something like a binding dispute resolution mechanism.
Yeah, within
that is meant to keep the coalition together.
Exactly. Because, Peter, we take into consideration all these issues that may align. I think we will share it with the Gambians. They will come to see all these things. Where we have dispute between coalition partners, for instance, we're not going to take it to the court. We are going there. That's why we say that the coalition council is one of the, for instance, for us, is the highest body when it comes to when it deals to coalition issues. This is where now the problem for the difference with with the 2016. We understand that the president has powers. A president that will respect and consult the coalition council when it comes to coalition governance. This is our main powerful, important instrument, the element that the president doesn't just do as he likes. He has to do it in line with the coalition project. Meaning that, all what we've laid to restructure the institutions, how we're going to govern. Yes, it's going to be like an alternative to help him look at governance in different ways. Because, Peter, currently, if we just leave it as it is, it's just going like how President Adama Barrow is doing. You just come back. For some of us, we have raised the bar. We say that you have to go and deal with people who have put something solid for the Gambians. It's not for you as an individual. I'm not looking at Mayor Talib Bensouda as somebody who is, super whatever. No, we are looking at the project. Our focus is he going to reform X? Is he going to bring a national minimum wage for the Gambians? Is he going to sort out the retirees? We have all those things, the pension reform, whereby we will put at least a cap whereby a pensioner cannot go below $3,000, $4,000. We have looked at all that stuff. We have put him under pressure to say that you have to put within the first 1 year 10,000 jobs for the youths. If he fails in that, we will go and report back to the Gambians and tell them that this guy did not, fulfill the agreement. So all these things, if he fails also to cut his salary, we will come back and say that you did not cut your government spending and your salary. So these are agreements he's going to have with the people. That's why I say that it's not about the individual. The individual, what he's going to do is that he is entrusted. He is just a trustee that we say that. Because we are trying to bring, like he mentioned, a government through serving the people, not people serving a government. So this is the idea that we are going to bring in this coalition project. It's not about he owns it. He has to work with Gambians under a national unity government whereby even if we win today, we're not going to exclude. If we have good people who are ready and patriotic to serve the Gambians, even within the NPP, we're going to bring them, let them work. Yes, no, Peter. It has to be somebody who is decent to come. Even the UDP, they have good and capable people who can be. We are looking at all those things.
So Barrow could lose on the 5th of December and still find himself back in government.
No, not Barrow. Because President Barrow would not take the role of a minister. Maybe we can give him an alcaloship in where? Mankamankunda. I don't mind that. An alcaloship in Mankamankunda, definitely we will give him that. Yeah, but not bad part in government because he is now looking at 3 terms. And we want these people to understand that the issue of our second term is very important. But your first term leading this coalition, reality is that you're not going to own anything. You're going to work for the Gambians. You're not going to bring partisanship in it, definitely, because we are tired of that and we don't want this polarization of our politics. That's why we say that whoever is coming, you are just going to work according to the project. It's not that you take ownership, because our politics is all geared towards the personality politics. Who is Barrow, who is Bensouda? No, we say that it's the project that solves your problem. The solution to the Gambian problem, we are working on a project, and this project people will come to see. Has this man signed this and agreed to it and swear to it? Definitely this man will work alongside that.
So after months spent negotiating among yourselves, what gives you confidence that Coalition 2026 is now sufficiently united, sufficiently organized and prepared to govern this country?
Well, as I say, Peter, we will go on our outreach. There are parties still we feel they should come and we work together. It's not that we own it. We're still waiting for some parties who are out there. They have their ideas. They have their ideas.
Yeah, let's say no other party comes.
Within us.
You have 10.
Yeah, within us. Yeah, within us already. We have worked our ideas, our documents, our frameworks, and everything that we put in place. We are confident enough that with that is sufficient for us to put to the Gambians. And we are coming to do that within the next few weeks, that we are going to show Gambians that what this project is all about. We're going to put also a campaign strategy.
What does showing Gambians mean in practice?
In practice, we are going to show them that we are coming forward with solutions to solve their problems in terms of their standard of living, in terms of their governance, in terms of, rebuilding the institutions, reform and rebuilding.
So you have everything set out in what, volumes of documents?
Exactly.
That you are going to make available
present
to the public?
To the Gambians, exactly. That's why we have the flag bearer as the beneficiary to also, articulate all this. It's something that we have to be true to the Gambians. We cannot shortchange them. Peter, I don't believe in that kind of like trying to buy the voter. I believe that,
who's trying to buy the voter? What does this mean?
No, what does I mean as trying to shortchange them, nahate bi. Man bilu fuma politics in nahate.
Yeah, but politics is about nahate.
No, what I mean, nahate in terms of, trying to say that I'm going to give you something for my own benefit. Nahate on the base of truth. If I am trying to put my policies or my programs, I will be very straightforward with you. You like me or you hate me, but I will be very straightforward. Peter, even me, I have always said this. If I was contesting for elections, even between me and you, if I was to win by one vote, and that one vote I can buy it or do anything, I will not do it. And I will not recommend to any leader or our flag bearer to do that. I'm saying this, not for a reason, Peter.
Politicians and scruples? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but despite that, but as I say, we have to raise the standard bar. We cannot be always like that. We have to raise the standard bar. For our project, it's raising the bar. This is it, because we want politicians to come with integrity. We want politicians to make sure whatever they can tell the voter to deliver on it, not to tell the voter X, and next you say that I cannot deliver on it. Because all what we are going to tell the voter, it is something that we have to think thoroughly. I don't like a promise that you say and you will not deliver it. Peter, if I say that I'm going to cut taxes, by this time and this period, I have to make sure I do that at all costs. This is where we are with this kind of project. We are not going there to say that let's fool people to have their votes and then win. No. We are going to try to bring, trustworthiness in our politics. Okay. As I say, integrity. This is where we are. This is the kind of project we put. That's why I'm saying, even Mayor Bensouda, he can be the beneficiary, but doesn't mean that he owns it. He has to work in line with the project. This is very fundamental for us. Very, very fundamental. I am not going to be involved or engaged in anything that will mislead or, bring, kind of like change, I can say that, just to fool the Gambian people that we're going to bring X, Y, and Z to lead us just for the sake of that he wants to be in government. I'm not going to involve that. And I believe that the team or the group that we are working with, smart people, wealth of knowledge, they're also not going to get involved in that. If we're going to win these elections, it's not only going to be on money. We have to win it on trustworthy and truth. What we're going to tell the Gambians, our message has to be clear. That's why I am here to do that. Definitely, we want to win it fair and square, but we're going to win it by message also, because we have to be truthful to the Gambians. Peter, we did it in the KMC election in I'm just giving an example here. 2023. in this KMC, that's what we did.
There was a coalition?
No, that was not a coalition. That's what I'm saying. Some of us, we were there, and we tried to bring... I'm not saying that was a coalition, but...
So let's not...
I'm just saying, okay, What I'm trying to say here now... But now, back to your point now.
Yeah. Now, what's the lifespan of Coalition 2026?
Well, we say that the first 5 years is up to the flag bearer. If he happens to win, he will govern according to the coalition project.
Okay.
Consecutively, we say 2 terms for anybody. And you cannot come and say that I want to have a third term. My first term was just a transitional period. Well, but what I'm coming, Peter. Okay. For your first 5 term, first 5 years,
5 year term,
you will only govern by the coalition project. Now your second 5 years is open.
Okay.
If you choose to go by your party programs, it's up to you.
So potentially it has a 5-year lifespan.
Exactly. That's our target. So, but maybe also if the guy becomes so successful, even if he has consultation with the coalition partners, they may proceed and then have another 5-year term. That's why we say that consecutively 2 5 years is our target. But the first 5 years is open to be governed through the coalition project.
If you were speaking to a skeptical Gambian who says, we've seen opposition coalitions before and we've seen how they ended, how would you tell that person that Coalition 2026 is genuinely different?
Well, it's genuinely different because we have learned our lessons. I mean, we have seen the geopolitics and we've seen also what happened in 2016. And as the wolof say, ndobin nagati kugis ndobin resa mam so gise lu ñul dawal, because I mean at the end of the day, Peter, we're trying to avoid all these things. We have to rectify the situation. So for us, as I say, this time around, we raised the bar in terms of governance, in terms of what is going to be agreed and who is going to lead this project. It's not about just putting somebody there, but we want to we want to bring the solutions to fix our institutions. This is very important here. Reform and rebuild. All the reforms that we mentioned, if we say that we're going to have security or constitutional reform, anything that we mention, we want to see that it is implemented. Not to come and say that in politics, lula ne wahal pour ñu falla. No. We want to make sure that there are people.
By the way, who said that again?
President Adama Barrow. So we are not going into that light. We don't expect our flag bearer to say things. Let me say this thing clearly. Our flag bearer, we don't expect him to say things that he cannot deliver. Never. Because we want somebody who will think through and who will be guided by this coalition council. As I say, we are open. And then definitely we want, people of integrity, Gambians who are very patriotic to come and serve this government. We want a national unity government. Gambia needs it, Peter. We need political tranquility. We have been at each other's throat in politics. Let's focus on how we can rebuild and help this country move forward. That's why we are here. It's not about me or so. Some of us, we even say that we are not bothered with, what do we call? This is a breaking news. So some of us, we are not bothered with cabinet appointments. We just want to see this project through. That's the difference. I don't have to go to Mayor Bensouda to beg him or if he's a flag bearer. No. What we have to tell him that we agree on this. We have to do it for the Gambians. We cannot shortchange Gambians. We don't want you to say that you're going to review our government contracts or, our natural resource issues and so on, let alone, you go and do X. No. We want to make sure all what is agreed is done. If you don't comply with that, definitely I don't think we will support your candidature. It's very clear, Peter, for some of us, because it means a lot. For some of us, we owe it to the Gambians. Personally, for me and others, we owe it to the Gambians because we are tired of this issue of politicians coming to say things that cannot be done just to be in power. It's going to be a different ball game from 2016 and others.
Very quickly, some final thoughts?
Well, Peter, as I say, in final thoughts, Gambians have their minds. We are very smart people, especially the undecided voters. We expect them to look at the project, not the individual. The individual is entrusted to lead it, but he doesn't own it. Peter, I don't believe in leadership by ownership. I believe leadership by stewardship. You are there to listen to the people, deliver. Be honest to the people. Be honest. One day when I walk in a very distinct, Peter, I mean, you told me one thing, I remember. This was years ago.
Me?
Yeah. But I have to be frank, Peter. I have to be frank. You know, at that time, I think about my KMC issue or whatever. This was years ago. We were discussing about leadership, but you mentioned one word that I capture, and I still remember. Be transparent.
I told you to be transparent.
Yeah. No, that about leadership. No, Peter. I'm just saying, for instance. No, this is not about anything.
forgot.
Yeah, no, you, as I say, from me, if I have conversation with anybody, I learn from conversation.
Very good. All right. Thank you.
So the wisdom of people also, I do pick from. I'm like that.
Thank you very much.
And then we bullet the victim. I mean, Tetina ko watch all of Hamnane time jambu nanyu. Next time, I mean, didn't ko watch all of Action Mandinka. I think I will come here to explain more about this coalition project. Yes.
We will.
Inshallah.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Vive la fe. Sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.